Burger's Daughter is a politically charged novel set in apartheid-era South Africa. It follows Rosa Burger, the daughter of anti-apartheid activists Lionel and Kathy Burger, as she struggles to define her identity apart from her parents' political legacy. After the death of her father, a revered member of the South African Communist Party who dies in prison, Rosa is left to decide whether to continue in his ideological footsteps or chart her own course. The novel opens shortly after Lionel's death. Rosa, now in her early 20s, has lived much of her life under the shadow of political activism. Her parents' home was a constant center of political activity and, as a child, Rosa was raised among comrades, revolutionaries, and ideologues. Rosa's mother, Kathy, died years earlier, and her father's imprisonment and death leaves Rosa with a sense of profound isolation and confusion. Although she is not officially charged, Rosa is detained by the authorities due to her association with her father's legacy. After her release, she finds herself at a crossroads. She leaves South Africa and travels to France, hoping to escape the suffocating expectations of her political inheritance and gain clarity on her personal beliefs and desires. In France, Rosa experiences a different world, one of intellectual freedom and political theorizing detached from the direct oppression she knew in South Africa. She becomes involved with Bernard Chobelier, a French leftist academic, and attempts to live a life removed from the struggle. Yet, even in France, she is perceived not as herself, but as Burger's daughter, a symbol of the anti-apartheid cause. Bernard introduces her at a rally, and instead of speaking for herself, Rosa feels again that she is being used as a representative of her father's cause. Eventually, Rosa returns to South Africa, realizing she cannot escape her roots. She takes on a quieter, subtler form of resistance, helping Black South Africans in small, practical ways. However, her activities draw attention from the authorities, and by the end of the novel, she is arrested again. Rosa's journey comes full circle. Having tried to escape her role as an activist, she ultimately embraces it, though on her own terms. Themes and analysis. 1. Identity and inheritance. At the heart of Burger's Daughter lies the question, who am I apart from my parents? Rosa's struggle to forge her identity independent of her family's legacy is a deeply personal one, made more complex by the public nature of that legacy. Lionel Burger is not just her father, he is a martyr for justice, a symbol of white resistance to apartheid. Rosa wrestles with this inherited identity, asking whether her life must be defined by her father's choices. The novel's dual narrative style, alternating between third-person narration and Rosa's internal monologue, reflects this tension. In her private reflections, Rosa often speaks to her dead father, questioning and even resenting the expectations he placed on her. Her journey is not just political, it is a coming-of-age story about self-definition. 2. The role of the white liberal in apartheid South Africa. Gordimer, herself a white South African who opposed apartheid, uses Rosa to explore the ethical responsibilities of privileged white citizens under an oppressive regime. Rosa's position is complex. As the daughter of communists, she is not part of the ruling elite, yet she benefits from the very system her parents fought against. Through Rosa's interactions with other white South Africans, including her adopted brother Conrad and her Afrikaner relatives, Gordimer critiques various forms of disengagement, from apathy to romanticized rebellion. Rosa's ultimate decision to return and engage in quiet resistance suggests that meaningful involvement requires both personal sacrifice and self-awareness. 3. Politics versus the personal. Burger's Daughter powerfully dramatizes the tension between public duty and private desire. Rosa yearns for a personal life, love, freedom, travel, but is continually pulled back into the political arena. Even in France, a place of theoretical debates and ideological posturing, Rosa finds no escape from the political implications of her identity. The novel implies that in a deeply unjust society, the personal is always political. Rosa cannot separate her desires from the historical moment she lives in. Her ultimate arrest suggests that full personal autonomy is impossible under apartheid, especially for someone with her background. 4. Silence and voice. Another key motif is silence. Rosa's silence as she listens to others define her, the silence she keeps in prison, the silence of her inner monologue contrasted with the noise of political slogans and speeches. Gordimer explores how both the state and political movements can erase individual voices. Rosa's journey is about reclaiming her own voice, even if that voice ultimately aligns with the cause her parents championed. Her refusal to speak at the rally in France is especially telling. She resents being made a symbol rather than a person. But by the end of the novel, her choice to act, not speak, suggests a new kind of voice, one of action rather than rhetoric. 5. Feminist undercurrents. While not overtly a feminist novel, Berger's Daughter addresses the additional burden Rosa faces as a woman in a male-dominated political world. Her father and his comrades, despite their progressive ideals, often sidelined women or used them for administrative tasks. Rosa's internal reflections reveal a sharp awareness of gender dynamics and the way her own emotional labor was co-opted by the movement. Her romantic relationships also show a desire for autonomy. She resists being defined by men, whether it's Bernard in France or earlier lovers in South Africa. Her journey can thus be read as a feminist quest for agency within both political and personal spheres. Narrative style and structure. Gordimer employs a complex narrative style that blends third-person observation with Rosa's first-person inner thoughts. This modernist technique creates a layered portrait of a woman in flux. The shifting perspectives emphasize the fragmentation of Rosa's identity and highlight the dissonance between how others see her and how she sees herself. The novel is also structured in distinct parts: before France, in France, and after returning to South Africa, mirroring Rosa's evolution from daughter to exile to individual actor. Each phase brings Rosa closer to an understanding of what it means to live ethically and authentically in a world demanding allegiance and sacrifice. Conclusion. Berger's Daughter is both a political novel and an intimate psychological portrait. Through Rosa Berger, Gordimer examines the burden of political inheritance, the complexity of white liberal resistance to apartheid, and the search for personal identity in a politicized world. Rosa's journey from silence to action reflects a hard-won understanding that identity cannot be inherited, it must be chosen, often at great personal cost. The novel remains a powerful exploration of the ways political systems shape individual lives and the courage it takes to live with integrity within them.